Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now, your #1 source for tips, tricks, and everything you need to know for Fantasy Premier League football. Today we're going to be going over some wildcard drafts for Game Week 16, so if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below. Let's try to hit 35 likes. Leave a comment, which transfers are you going to be making this week? Subscribe if you're brand new, we're so close to 900 subscribers. With all of that out of the way though, let's get into the video, and I really hope that you enjoy. So in today's video, I'm actually going to be showing you two different wildcard drafts. The first draft is a 3-4-3 formation with a lot more money pumped into midfield, and then the other draft is a 4-4-2 with a lot of money being pumped up front and in the defense, of course, because the defense is expensive this year. It's where all the best players are. But anyway, let's go over this first draft. Now in goal we have Foster. Now you can easily just bring in a 4 mil keeper if you want, someone like Steele, who's the Brighton keeper, the backup. But I've just put Foster in here just because when he does come back from that injury, he's probably going to resume that #1 spot. But again, you don't need him in your team. He's not back until the 15th of January. So if anything does happen to your main keeper, in this case it is De Gea, then yeah, you're obviously going to have to waste a transfer to bring in somebody else. But I mean, it's up to you. I would personally just go with like a 4 mil keeper because I think it's a lot less risky. But again, it is completely up to you. So yeah, we've got Foster in there. And then the main goalkeeper is De Gea. Now, United looked good against Crystal Palace. I know that was only one game, but you can already see Ralph's kind of, I don't know, character being fueled into the team. And yeah, United, like I say, looked really good at the back. They were pressing so much more. And again, we all know how good the United fixtures are coming up. Norwich, Brentford, Brighton, Newcastle, Burnley, Wolves, Villa. Then they've got West Ham, but then they've got Burnley, Southampton, Leeds, and Watford. So that is just a ridiculously good run of fixtures. And this allows you to bring in like a United defender without actually bringing in one. De Gea has actually been having like a mad season. Like the saves that he's been pulling off have been ridiculous. But with how good United are now at the back, hopefully he'll just get ton of points every single game week. So yeah, I've gone with De Gea. Again, you could go with someone like Ramsdale if you really wanted to, who is actually the keeper in the second draft, but they're the same price. And I just feel like if you're gonna think about bringing in Ramsdale, surely you're bringing De Gea instead, who's got the best fixture out of any keeper, and United look good at the back now. So I personally would like to bring in De Gea if I was on a wild card, but yeah, he's definitely the top of the list for goalkeepers in my personal opinion. And then at the back we have Johnson, James, Trent, Cancelo, and Livramento. So Johnson did go off with a hamstring injury. Again, we'll have to wait more for the press conference from David Moyes, but I mean, with this fixture run coming up, like Burnley, Arsenal, Norwich, Southampton, Watford, Crystal Palace, Leeds, United, Watford, Leicester, and Newcastle, like this is a really cheap player to bring in for that kind of fixture run. Like he's only 4 mil. I feel like if he is back after just like a 1 or 2 game weeks, then he'll go straight back into the team. And yeah, like he's just a really cheap player. Pretty much nailed. I want to say he's nailed at the moment. Like if we take a look at his history for the last game weeks, it was 45. Obviously he came off with the injury. Before that was 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, 99. So that's 1, 2, 3 since game week 8. So that's 7 game weeks of him starting. I just think for his price, and if he's okay, as long as he's not out for a while, like hamstring injuries are always difficult. You don't know whether he's going to be back early or back late. But if he is okay after the press conference, you know, he's just going to be on your bench for the time being anyway. But once he actually starts having those good fixtures, like he's actually going to be a little bit of a headache for FPL managers because you won't know whether to start him over the likes of James, Trent, Cancelo, or Livramento if you wanted to bring him in. James, Trent, Cancelo, like I said, really unfortunate for James. Like he's got 0-0-1 over the last 3 game weeks, which isn't great. But their fixture run is nice coming up. Like Leeds, you expect a clean sheet. Everton, you expect a clean sheet. Wolves, you expect a clean sheet. Villa, probably not. But then Brighton, you'd also expect a clean sheet. But then, of course, they're out for 2 games here. So that's why, I don't know, doubling up on Chelsea defense is a little bit risky because they've got 2 game weeks where they don't play. But then after that, they have this ridiculously good fixture run. So it's really like, do you want to bring them in early for that fixture run or what? Like, again, injuries can happen, players can be out, players can come back in. So we'll have to see what happens there. But yeah, I'd only like to bring in 1 Chelsea player at the moment because then it's less of a headache for those fixtures. Plus, you can play someone like Livramento or Johnson if you still have those players in your team. We've then got Trent, of course, Villa, Newcastle, Tottenham, Leeds. We don't really need to speak about Trent. He's just such a good person to have in your team. It's ridiculous. And then Cancelo ahead of this fixture run, really good. Wolves, Leeds, Newcastle, Leicester, Brentford. Like, I don't know if I would double up on City defense per se because Diaz has got benched this season, Laporte's got benched this season, Stones just has lost his place for whatever reason. Like, I only think Cancelo is the most nailed player. Again, over the busy Christmas period, it will change a bit, and these players will be benched, which is why you do need a strong bench, the likes of Johnson, Livramento, and whoever else you have on the bench. But yeah, that's kind of the back line at the moment. Again, Livramento is just bench fodder. He's not really someone you're going to be thinking about playing unless you have a game like, I don't know, Norwich or something, because they've got a really nice fixture run like towards the end of the season. I think Livramento is just a hold all season, really, because you don't need to play him, but you know he's always going to come off the bench if you need to rely on him. Then we have the midfield, which is an interesting one. I feel like this could be a hit or miss. The only reason I've got Rashford in this team is because you can't fit Ronaldo in. But yeah, we've got Rashford in the midfield, we've got Bernardo in the midfield, we've got Salah, Jota, and Sissoko. Again, the 4.5 mil could be anyone, could be a Brownhill, could be Norman for Norwich, any of those players. But I just feel like Rashford, he seems to be starting every single game now. Like, he's not really been returning too much. But if you look at his minutes, like, he has slowly been getting back to kind of like limelight. Like, he's just still coming back from injury, but, you know, he seems to be starting every single game. And hopefully that will continue. The only bad thing is, like, there is a lot of rotation in the United lineup at the moment. Like, if you watched the game, a lot of players came on, a lot of players came off. Like, Sancho came off on like the 60th minute, Rashford came off on like the 70th, Greenwood came on. All these different players are coming off and on, so there will be a lot of rotation. I feel like we're going to see a lot of what happens at like Chelsea and City at United. But I think Rashford is a good shout. You could go for Sancho as well, who is a little bit cheaper. I think he's like 0.5 mil cheap if you really wanted to. I don't really know who you would upgrade with that extra money, but it's always nice to have a little bit of money in the bank. But I prefer Rashford. But again, I think the way that Ralph set the team up actually was like a 4-2-2-2. And I think Rashford and Ronaldo played up front, and then behind them was Bruno and Sancho, I think, in those like attacking midfielder roles. So yeah, if Rashford is starting up front every single game, that's obviously just better, but we'll have to see what happens with that. Next up, Bernardo. I mean, it just gets to the point where you have to bring this player in now. Like, his returns are kind of ridiculous. Like, 15 this game week, he got 10, 2, 8, 8, 1, 5, 11. The main thing is he's starting every single game. Like, literally look at these starts. Like, he didn't start against Tottenham, fair play, but then start against Norwich, 90, 57, 90, 71, 99, no, just 90. Like, he's just starting every single game. And if he's scoring goals, why would Pep bench him, you know? I mean, they do have the likes of Grealish, Foden, De Bruyne, but they all were on the field when they played at the weekend, and Bernardo didn't come off for any of them. So I just feel like he's super nailed at the moment, and he's only 7.5. I think he's already been brought in by like 300,000 managers this week, so if you're gonna bring him in, you need to kind of act quickly. He may go up to 7.6, but yeah, I think Bernardo is just a really, really good person to have in your team at the moment. Salah, Jota, don't really need to go into that detail too much. I mean, Salah's just the GOAT, and then Jota, you know, you want him in your team ahead of that AFCON trip for Salah and Mane, because then he will start every single game. My God, how did he miss, by the way, against Wolves? Like, so annoying. As a Jota owner, that was so annoying to watch. But yeah, Salah, Jota, again, their fixtures are coming up. Really, really good. And there's not really any other players that I'd rather have in my team at the moment than Salah and Jota, because, yeah, you could have the likes of Sonny in or someone like that, but I just think Jota, having him in before Salah and Mane go off to AFCON is going to be really, really useful. And then this is the up front. An interesting up front for sure. We've got Dennis in there. A lot of people are jumping on the Dennis train. He's got really nice fixtures coming up. Brentford, Burnley, Crystal Palace. Very cheap player. And then we have Antonio, who again has some really nice fixtures coming up. Burnley, Arsenal, Norwich. Like, for all the Antonio holders, I understand why he kept him in. I'm one of them, but it has been difficult. Like, he obviously got the assist. I mean, a freak assist, by the way. Like, that goal was just ridiculous. But he did get the 3 points from it. But yeah, now that obviously he's kind of over the hurdle of all those terrible fixtures, he hopefully will start returning again, because he hasn't scored in like 8 games or something like that. It's stupid. But then Watkins is another player that I'm definitely going to bring in anyway, because I think what Steven Gerrard's doing at Aston Villa is just really, really good. And after this Liverpool game, like, you don't even have to play Watkins this weekend if you didn't really want to. Like, Liverpool away is a really tough fixture. You could bring in someone like Johnson or Livramento to play instead. But then after that, he has Norwich, Burnley. Yeah, Chelsea's a tough fixture. But then Leeds, Brentford, then United. Then he has Everton, Leeds, Newcastle, Watford, Brighton, Southampton. And the thing is about Ollie Watkins is that he's actually been kind of popping off. Like 2, 9, 2, 8, 2, 7, 1, 4, 6. Like, he's actually been getting quite a few returns. He's only 7.5 mil. I think is a decent little shout, to be fair. I'm going to be bringing him in after this game week for that Norwich game, 100%. And I think he's definitely going to be overlooked a little bit, but I think that he's going to be a decent player, especially because it allows you to bring in the likes of Bernardo, Rashford, Jota, all these different players, and it allows you to have a very, very nice defense as well. But anyway, that's the first draft that we're going to go over. The second draft is this. So instead of De Gea, we have Ramsdale. But like I say, I would just have to have De Gea. And like, yeah, I understand that Ramsdale's got Everton, Southampton, West Ham, Leeds, and Norwich, which is obviously really nice fixture run. But compared to De Gea's, who has Norwich, Brentford, Brighton, Newcastle, Burnley, Wolves. But like, I just don't think it's any contest. And I think that United are really, really good at the back now. So yeah, for me, it would be De Gea all the time. Now this defense is a little bit worse. Like, we still have Johnson, James, Cancelo, Livramento, but you don't have the funds to bring in Trent as well. So I've downgraded to a Van Dijk because Ronaldo is just so expensive that it really hurts the rest of your team. And also, this draft has Son in as well. So because of those two players, it kind of hurts the rest of your team. Like, there's no Bernardo Silva in there. There's no Rashford. And obviously there's no Trent. So is Son and Ronaldo worth it? I mean, you could mix and match. Like, you could take out Cancelo or someone if you really, really wanted to. But if you were wanting the likes of Son and Ronaldo, and it is quite difficult to make a draft around that, there's still quite a competitive draft. But yeah, that's the back line anyway. And then in midfield, we have Gallagher, Smith Rowe, Salah, and Son. Again, not that Gallagher and Smith Rowe are bad options. Like, Gallagher has a really nice fixture on coming up: Everton, Southampton, Watford, Tottenham, and Norwich. But I think he's actually got a price fall. I think he's 6.1 now. And again, with Smith Rowe, like, not a bad fixture. And we've already just been on over the Ramsdale fixtures: Everton, Southampton, West Ham, Leeds, and Norwich. It's just they're not Bernardo Silva, they're not Rashford, you know, they're not those kind of players. But again, it's not like they have bad fixtures. So I don't say this is a bad draft. I just like the other draft a lot more. And you're kind of relying a lot on Son and Ronaldo. And if they blank in certain weeks, like, we don't know if Ronaldo's going to get benched a lot. We really, really don't know. But if he does, you're kind of in a really sticky situation, because then you're going to have to waste the transfer on Ronaldo if he's just not playing. And then that will obviously have to bring in another transfer to bring in another player in your midfield or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of midfield. And then Brownhill's there as well. Son, again, doesn't necessarily have the best fixtures coming up. Like, Brighton's a tough place to go. Leicester have been leaking in goals, so that's quite a nice little fixture. But then Liverpool at home. Then he has Crystal Palace, Southampton, and Watford. So the fixtures are all over the place at the moment, but I think that, I don't know, Son has just been popping off, like, and he's, I mean, if you're going to go with Son or Kane, it's just not even up for debate. It's just Son every single day. Kane has just been terrible this season. And then up front, again, we've already been over Antonio fixtures, but then Ronaldo, again, we've had a look at United fixtures. And yeah, I mean, Ronaldo, is he on pens? I don't know. He took the one against Arsenal, but I feel like Bruno and Ronaldo might rotate a little bit. So I think 12.3 mil for a player. Yeah, they've got a really good fixture run, but if they're not on penalties, I think 12.3 is maybe a little bit too much. You could downgrade to the likes of Lukaku or someone, or like I say, bring in Watkins, and then it just gives you so much money. That gives you 5 mil to upgrade your midfield. So yeah, they are my two wildcard drafts. Again, I'm not a huge fan of this one because I don't like not having Trent. I don't like the midfield kind of being like this. Like, yeah, this draft doesn't have any Tottenham players. It doesn't have, like, Ronaldo or anyone, but you've still got a United attacking player in there. You've got a United defender in there to target those fixtures. You have Salah, Jota, and Trent for your Liverpool players. You have 2 City players in this draft as well to target the really, really nice City fixtures coming up. You still have Reece James as well. You have a nice, powerful bench in Johnson, Livramento, and Sissoko. And then up front, you've got Dennis, Antonio, and Watkins all having really good fixtures as well. So this is, like, in my opinion, an ideal draft right now. And if I was on a wild card, I definitely would be looking at something similar to this. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video anyway. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below, leave a comment, subscribe if you're brand new. That's everything from me. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And until next time,